Fuck. Oh, wait.
Can y'all hear me?
That's perfect timing, Darcy.
We
We
can
can hear
hear
you,
you.
Mac. You're doing great.
Thanks.
We are live. Oh, fuck. Okay. It's only going to two groups. Then we have to deal
That's
with it.
fine. That's
Two
fine.
groups.
Run it.
That's
Right?
what copy and paste is for.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the main stage Open Mic Monday with the Pridecast. This is the main event. I'm your host, Main Event Mike, along with producer Russ Wayne. Also, our illustrious panel of headliners here on the main stage tonight. Tonight, we've got from the North Border, the most passionate Lions fan I know, Coach Darcy. How are you, Darcy?
What up, Doe? What
What
up?
up?
Hey,
Coming
man.
at us from the West Coast, we got Greg Rice, a.k.a. Gucci Greg, a.k.a. the West Coast Stat Master, at Greg Rice 20. How are you, Greg?
Doing good. My Dodgers lost, but I'm taking the L. Life is great. Our Lions will make it up.
You're a Lions fan. You'll make it. Russ Wayne, our illustrious producer, El Jefe, and the Swami. How are you, Swam?
The Swami is doing great, man. I'm ready to make some predictions.
Awesome. And also, we have our special guest tonight, our Dallas Cowboys super fan, the Mac Truck, Mac Brown. How are you, Mac?
You know, I'm good. How y'all doing today?
So glad
Doing
to
great.
have you here. We're great now that you're here. We had some technical difficulties, but we're just going to jump on, move on with the second part of our show. And that is where the Detroit Lions look ahead to next Sunday when we face the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. And that's why our guest, Mac, is here today. Mac, welcome to the main stage. We're going to jump right into it and say, Dak is coming back. Is that a good thing?
Look, I'm gonna be 100 with y'all. I'm a Dallas Cowboy realist. So, with that being said, I personally think he shouldn't come back till after the bye week, just to make sure he's 100%. Now, is he 100% now? He might be. Who the hell knows? But you know, we're not on the field. We're not the coaches. We're not him. So we don't know how he feels. We can't tell you. You know, me as a fan, I can't tell you how he's gonna do. I just know from being a football player and having experience, they should probably wait for a little bit. Cooper Rush is doing fine. He got his first L ever yesterday, and still killed it. So I think personally, Dak Prescott's going to come back with a vengeance. I don't think Week 7 is the game for him to come back, but we all know how Jerry Jones operates. He just paid Dak Prescott a bunch of money in this offseason. So at this point, Jerry Jones is looking for the profit on return with his money that he just spent on Dak Prescott. So if Dak Prescott starts, I'm not surprised if Cooper Rush is still suiting up and taking those snaps as well.
That's a great take. Thanks, Mac. Yeah, a little ROI, return on investment, on all that money that they gave Dak Prescott, for sure. But the way Cooper Rush has been playing, do you think maybe the Cowboys might take a step back offensively, putting Dak in?
I don't think so, honestly, because Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb and even Noah Brown to an extent are used to they're used to Dak. But both Michael Gallup before he got hurt, and CeeDee Lamb before Amari Cooper left the Dallas Cowboys are used to how Dak throws, how he gets the ball to them, cutting their routes. You know, if he throws it short, they're used to his tactics and his strategy. And I'm not going to say that they're not used to Cooper Rush, because they've now had him a good quarter of the season, because Dak was out 3 quarters of that first game, or after the first, after that, the injury in the first game. So it's honestly, I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a step back. I think it's gonna be kind of the same. I do know that Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott are gonna have to do a little bit more work to make up for what Dak has not been able to produce, just because that's their job. You make as a running back, you make up what the quarterback cannot do or can't do.
Right. So, is that something you would point to? What would you point to as Dallas's keys to winning this game against Detroit Lions?
Well, let's see. The defense has to be consistent to start. Well, I'm just going to throw that out there. My defense last night was not consistent. They started to get consistent after halfway through the third quarter. They started to turn it on. But you can't just start to turn it on after halftime, especially when you're down 2 scores. You have to be on point. And I blame part of that on DeMarcus Lawrence. DeMarcus Lawrence is the veteran backbone of that freaking defense. He's got a young line with Marco Parsons. He's got another young line with Trey Diggs and Leighton Vander Esch. And I mean, he's and Jerron Curse. Like he's got all young Lions, and DeMarcus Lawrence is the OG on that squad. It used to be Sean Lee. Now it's DeMarcus Lawrence. So if I'm DeMarcus Lawrence, I have to have all it's all gas, no brakes at this point. Like the defense, that's what Dallas has been known for right now up until this point is their solid, consistent defense. Pressure, running back pressure, QB pressure, tight end pressure, skill position pressure. Michael Parsons is that dude. DeMarcus Lawrence has to get the pressure on Jared Goff.
Yeah, that's a great take there,
Great
Mac.
job.
Thank you.
Good job.
So Pollard or Zeke? That's our next topic, Mac. Going forward, are the Dallas Cowboys going to lean on Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott? Going forward, who's going to be the lead back for the down the stretch of this season?
To be honest, they're gonna. If I know Mike McCarthy, I know Jerry Jones also just paid Zeke Elliott just about 2 season ago. Tony Pollard is still looking to get that extension. He's looking to get that Zeke money. So they're gonna keep running the two split back tank. They're gonna keep running the two split back tank to see who's gonna produce more. At this point, it's equal. Like I told you guys before, like we kind of had this conversation already, and I'm gonna keep it 100. Like Zeke is the veteran between the two of them, but Tony Pollard has more to prove, and Tony Pollard has been proving that game after game. Even with this loss, Dallas is 4-2. Dallas is now third in the NFC. Okay, that's nothing to sniff at, especially with a backup quarterback. That's nothing to sniff at. It's about consistency. Zeke has been known to go rogue. He got all that money and went rogue last year. Tony Pollard had to clean up his mess, and now that Tony Pollard is now an active 1A, 1B running back, there's going to be an issue. There's going to be an issue over who's going to start. But because Dallas doesn't use a fullback, that's why they use a 2-back split.
Right on. So what do you think is the most intriguing matchup in this game?
To be honest, I think it's going to be T.J. Hawkinson versus Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons likes to press on the tight ends. T.J. Hawkinson might as well be a freaking wideout. I would know because he went to Iowa. He went to the school I went to. I went to Iowa. I watched him close 3 or 4 years with him and North Fan on the opposite side. I know what T.J. Hawkinson is capable of. And now that he has a quarterback that's absolutely learning how to use tight ends correctly, it's going to be an interesting battle. I also think it's going to be a battle between Jared Goff and Trey Diggs. Trey Diggs likes to press on the weak side of the quarterback, even with a strong arm.
Right. That is an intriguing matchup, and not one that I had even considered. T.J. Hawkinson, of course, going to tight end University at Iowa, like you said, and Michael Parsons, who leads the league in sacks. You think they'll assign him to cover Hawk?
I think they're going to assign him to be a flyer, which is what they've done the entire season. That's why he's gotten all his sacks. You let him go free range, it's over. It's just and to an extent, Leighton Vander Esch as well. He may play that middle strong side backer, but they also, if y'all notice, they literally bring him. They bring Michael Parsons up on the line for a front seven. They bring Leighton Vander Esch on the line for a front seven. Cooper, get out of my video. That's my little brother. Do not mind him. He's an Eagles fan. We don't talk about him right now.
Oh,
Point being, yeah, I don't got time for him. We don't got time for him. But Dallas, Dan Quinn likes to bring his two strongest backfield up for a front seven. That's why Trey Diggs is always getting those picks, is because they're literally sending a 9-person blitz without the 9-person. Trey Diggs is that 9-person on the backside.
right. Good call.
Good breakdown.
Yeah, for sure. Mac, you got such great takes. You've obviously got an acute football mind. We really appreciate you being here on the main stage today. We're going to kick it around to our panel now and let them get some questions in on you. Are you ready? You ready for a little rapid fire?
I'm
All right,
really.
we're going to kick it up to Greg Rice out on the West Coast at Greg Rice 20. What do you got for our panelist, Mac Brown, tonight?
Hey, Mac, I just want to welcome you to the Pridecast, the main event. It's such an honor having you here. You know, you're part of the biggest fan base in the United States. You're part of America's team, Dallas Cowboys. Much luck to you this season, not so much this week. But I wanted to talk about Dorrance Armstrong. Now, there were some Cowboys fans who were a little bit jaded about losing Randy Gregory. Dorrance Armstrong has absolutely stepped up. You guys have what I consider easily a top 8 front seven. How has his impact this year kind of alleviated losing Randy Gregory? And will Dorrance Armstrong, will he overpower Penei Sewell this game?
I'm
Good
gonna go
question.
yes. I'm gonna go yes, and then the only reason I'm gonna say this is because he's literally Dorrance Armstrong and Chauncey Golston, who also went to Iowa, are fighting for those starting two interior spots. Those starting two interior spots are not a lock by anybody. Like the only two spots that are actually a lock would be DeMarcus Lawrence's spot and anybody behind him, because those are all veterans. Chauncey Golston, Dorrance Armstrong, and even those my two subs, and I'm drawing a blank right now, but my two subs who sub on the end on the other side. All four of those players are fighting for those three spots.
Nice. That front seven's beastly, and it's going to be some work for our Lions. Thank you.
Yeah,
We'll send it over now to Coach
That's
Darcy.
Who it is. Neville Gallimore. That's who it is.
Coach, what do you got for Mac?
Oh, man, the Heartbreak Kids. I remember when I was 19 years old and we beat you guys. Eric would remember this. Barry Sanders against Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman. And damn, that was an exciting time. I think it was Madden 94 or whatever it was. But I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this rivalry. The last time you guys came into Detroit, I think Matthew Stafford punched it over the end zone. And I'm still butthurt about that picking up the flag when your linebacker just mollywopped. He just mollywopped our Brandon Pettigrew and stole the game for us. I think that was Dean Blandito's party bus with the topless girls on the bus, and I kind of just kind of suspected the league to be a little bit fraudulent after that kind of stuff. But Mac, I'm looking for a good game. Eric also too is a diehard Cowgirls fan. I don't know why, probably because of the dynasty and everything like that. And
Well, probably
seems
because
like
he has a
half
little
the
bit more
people for
class
where
than
I'm
your Lions
from.
do. It's fine.
I find from half the people that I know is because they love that dynasty. It's just like barf, just like Packer fans barf. Talk about it.
Oh God.
I was on the bandwagon
right now.
before the dynasty.
Talk.
I was on the
Allow
bandwagon before
me
the
to
dynasty.
introduce-
So
Allow me to introduce our next headliner on the panel here to our listeners and viewers, representing Motown Philly, coming all the way from Philly, Motown Philly back again, Mr. Eric Reynolds. How are you today, sir?
I'm excellent. How's everyone there? Can't complain.
Thanks. Yeah, we're enjoying this bye week. It means we didn't lose this week. We do have our super fan Mac Brown from Dallas Cowboys on. Do you have any questions for Mac today, Mr. Reynolds?
No, not at all. I appreciate everything Mac is saying. Being a Cowboy fan, I'm gonna say, Darcy, up until last season, I was a diehard Cowboy fan. I have my split loyalties right now, so we'll see what happens come Sunday.
Well, let me just keep it 100 with you. Look, Mr. Eric, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. You either are a fan or you're not. Ain't no split, nothing. Either you're still a diehard or you have an issue with something
Michael.
else and stuff, which is
Mac,
exactly what it sounds to be happening, and I don't think I blame you for the
well, Mac, let me make it clear for you, Mac. Mr. Reynolds here has been a diehard Cowboy fan all his life, but his son Craig plays for the Detroit Lions. So where would you be on that issue?
Still gonna. I mean, if my child was a fan and is playing for a different team, I'm still a diehard of my team. I'm supporting my child though, but I'm still a diehard of my team. I can't.
So you're gonna root against your kid for the Cowboys?
Got to, and that means he better work hard. He better work hard.
Whoa!
You watch. Craig's gonna get 3 touchdowns on you guys. You watch.
And that's fine. And we're still gonna win because I have this guy named CeeDee Lamb and I have this guy named Noah Brown. I also have this dude named Michael Gallup who's finally coming off an injury and producing like I need him to. I also have these two guys named Chauncey Golston and let's see, Leighton Vander Esch, and I literally have one of the top 10 defenses. However, the Lions have been known to bust people's seasons wide open, and I expect this matchup to be a grudge match. It's going to be a bloodbath. I don't care what anybody says. Like I said, I'm a realistic Dallas fan. I also play professional or semi-professional women's tackle football on a high level, so I understand this stuff more than most people do. And it's kind of gross when you really sit back and think about it. That's my best friend Taylor.
Hi,
Just
Taylor.
forget her. The squad said hi, Taylor. Hey.
Well, Matt, boy, I do respect your loyalty, man. But I don't know if I could root against my own kid as much as I love my Lions. If he played for the Packers, I'd probably still root for my kid. So
no, you can't.
All kudos to you, man, for being such a loyalist, and it's great to have female representation here on the panel. Greg Rice, you got anything else for Matt?
Micah Parsons, once in a generation talent. Is this guy shooing Hall of Famer? I mean, it's looking like it already. How excited are you to have Micah Parsons on your team? Like, is there anything he can't do?
To be honest, I'm going to tell you no, because we've already seen him catch, grab interceptions and almost return them all the way. He covers down well. He stacks the box well. He can literally stack the box by himself. Yeah. I don't know if y'all realize that, but the way Dan Quinn runs his defense is literally one person is stacking the entire box and everybody else is stacking the gaps. It's a gap stack defense. Yeah. That's what it is. It's a 3-4, 5, 5-1, 5-6, and it literally just depends on what the offense is giving him. So he's basically a free. I call him a free flyer defensive back. That's what he is. That's what he does. Just like Trey Diggs. The only thing Trey Diggs doesn't quite do is he doesn't quite come up on the line because he's quick enough to make those moves. Just like Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons, you can put Michael Parsons at free safety and he would do just fine. Just like Leighton Vander Esch. Leighton Vander Esch is more of that interior, exterior, middle weak side, middle strong side. He could play all across the board. But Michael Parsons is he's a different species of defensive back. It's really gross, actually, and I love it. And I think that's what's going to cause Lions problems. But the one thing that Parsons doesn't quite have yet, and it's only because he's literally in his second season. That's the disgusting part about this whole thing. Yeah. It's like Michael Parsons is in his second season. He's in his prime, He's basically in his prime, and he's only in year 2, which means his actual prime he's going to get more and more disgustingly good, and people are just going to sit there with their jaws dropped. Yeah. Like, what? I'm not going to quite say Hall of Famer yet. I would say by year 4 he would probably be right up in that realm.
Wow. So nice. You can thank the Lions for that, because we could have drafted him, but we took Penei Sewell instead, which I don't regret that at all. But there were a lot of people on draft day who were saying we should have took Micah Parsons. But I don't think anybody really knew what an actual beast he was going to be. And that was a great point you made about Dan Quinn's defense. You got to have a backer like Micah Parsons to be able to pull that off effectively, like Dan Quinn has had in the past. So, Matt, we really appreciate you being here on the main stage and stepping up. Anybody out there who's listening or watching, feel free to drop us a comment or drop us a question in the comments, and we'll be sure to try to get those on for you. But right now, we're going to let you go, Mac. But one more thing before you go. I want to hear a prediction on the game and a score.
Ooh, prediction and a score. Okay, well, I'll give you the score first. I'm going to go, because this is how tight I think this game is going to be. Just because knowing all the weapons the Lions have and knowing how my Dallas Cowboys have played up until last night's game, I'm going to go, it's going to be 27-24 Dallas.
Okay.
Predictions. I'm going to say Jared Goff is going to rush for 2 touchdowns. And depending on if Dak plays, Dak is probably going to throw for 3 touchdowns and have a pick or 2.
Wow. Okay. That's a great predictions. Now, one more. Over under on the amount of injuries Dak will get tonight. Next week. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, Mac. Don't really address that one. So, Mac, thanks so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it. You've been wonderful. We'd love to have you back again. And we encourage everybody to check you out at Mac Brown. And let us know if there's anything we can ever do for you.
Mac Brooks.
Hey, no, thank you. Somebody corrected
Mac Brooks,
it already.
Not Mac Brown. What am I talking about? Mac Brown.
Look,
Mac Brooks,
I wish I were as cool as Mac Brown. That's a cool dude. I'm saying this right now. But I'm telling you, I'm on all social medias. Snapchat is the Mac Truck with 2 E's, not 1, like the Ohio State, but better. Okay. Facebook, Mac Brooks. Okay. Short for Mackenzie, but don't call me that because I might beat you up. But you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, the whole 9. You follow me back. I'm kind of abrasive, so if you don't like it, if you're sensitive, you better grab you a roll of Charmin and get out.
Sorry, Mac Brooks. At Mac Brooks, thanks so much. What is it?
Thanks.
Say it again. Give us that handle again.
The Mac Truck. 2 E's, not one.
The
Okay.
Mac Truck. All right, thanks, Mac, for being here. We really appreciate it. Peace.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me. Go Dallas.
Have a good one. All right.
All right, well, now that she's gone, we'll just do our show in reverse order, eh, guys?
I guess
Now
so.
we'll just talk
Sounds good.
about the other things we were going to talk about. Russ, you got anything to say?
Man, I'm glad that that the Lions don't have to go up against her on Sunday. Gosh, I would say, you know, we're going down by 3 touchdowns, man. I would not want to mess with the Mac Truck.
Yes.
What
true.
happened to the coach? We lose the coach in the panel. Well, we're going to talk about the bye week now. We're going to talk about injuries. We'll start with Eric Reynolds. Eric, the bye week, the Lions needed it probably more than any team in the league, arguably more than any team in the league. So many people coming back. Amon-Ra St. Brown, DeAndre Swift. We might see Josh Pascal. I mean, we got Jerry Jacobs, John Kaminsky coming back. Whose return is going to make the biggest impact on the Lions next week in Dallas, Mr. Reynolds?
I'm going to say St. Brown, only because when he has an opportunity with the ball, he ends up being something electrifying. I mean, you're almost to the point where you're at the edge of your seat when he touches the ball, because he can do something that I'm not saying that the Dallas receivers can't do it. I'm not saying that any other receivers in the league can't do it, but he's just electrifying when he gets the ball, whether it's on a speed sweep, whether it's on a slant, whether he's running across the middle. It doesn't matter. You know, when he catches there's that opportunity for it to go coast to coast. And that's what I like about his game. So I think having him back healthy is going to be a big factor. And, you know, I think along the defensive line, especially with everything that Dallas has going on, where we need to put some pressure on Cooper Rush, or if Dak ends up playing on Dak, is having Kaminsky back. That's going to be a big factor as well.
Yeah.
Right on. Great take, Eric. Thank you so much. Coach Darcy, coming off the bye week, whose return is going to be most crucial for the Detroit Lions?
Ask the question again. I was fooling around here trying to fix things.
With all the players we have coming back from injury against Dallas, it's going to be great to have some healthy faces back on the bench. Whose return will be the most crucial to the Lions?
Well, DeAndre Swift, absolutely. He's our biggest explosive player on this freaking team. We need him to be healthy. Sorry, Eric, but I think Craig should get more touches. Every time he touches the ball, would he have 2 touches for like 80 yards? Like, man, the kid
92 all-purpose yards.
Yeah, the kid needs more touches. But now that Swift's going to be back, I'd like to see Craig get more touches, big time for sure. Swifty and who's gonna Max said, Hawk has to step up and have another big game like he did a couple weeks ago. He really needs to step up. I think we can win the next 4 games. I think we can beat Dallas. Sorry. I think we can beat Green Bay. And if Tua's not back, I think we could beat Miami too at home. And then we're on the road to Chicago. These 4 games are crucial for us to stay in this hunt, because I think Minnesota is running into a gauntlet right now. Green Bay is not Green Bay and Chicago is Chicago, right? So we're still in this. Let's keep the faith. Let's be loud at Ford Field. Talk about it.
So, Russ, same question. Whose return is most crucial for the Lions?
I mean, I'm hoping that it's going to be the return of Josh Pascal or anybody in the secondary. Chase Lucas was playing safety last week, and he's a rookie cornerback. I mean, that's not fair to put a coach or a defensive coordinator into that kind of position. I know it's next man up, but sometimes it's like man after man after man after man. So secondary help, defensive line help.
Right. There are a lot of answers to this question. So if you're out there paying attention and you want to chime in with your opinion, put it in the comments and we'll be sure to get at it. Greg Rice, now it's over to you. Same question. Whose return is most crucial for the Lions?
Well, Eric just touched on it towards the end there. I think it's absolutely John Kaminsky. John Kaminsky, sorry to the Michigan fans, has been our most productive player on that defensive line. Lee McNeil, close second, but definitely John Kaminsky. He has brought out the best in everything. Going into after that week 2 thing, when Kaminsky was last with us, we were generating the second most pressures in the league. Hutch was actually playing what we predicted him to play at that time. I've got to say, Kaminsky, we need help so badly on that D-line, and facing such a dynamic running back stable such as Pollard and Zeke. We need him and McNeil in there to absolutely kind of just at least contain them. I'm not sure if we have the defensive potential to stop them, but just contain them. And I think Kaminsky was probably looking like our best offseason acquisition free agent wise, and I just hope he can pick up where he left off, because we're missing him sorely.
Right. The Lions should be they should have a full complement of players on offense for the Dallas game, including Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift. We might actually see all 5 of the offensive linemen together finally for the first time, which would be amazing. But I got to go with Russ on this one. If we can get anyone back in that secondary, I mean, that secondary is in tough shape, right? Safeties and DBs. If we get Jerry Jacobs back healthy, they're already a squad that has to fight so hard for success. So injury just hurts their progress even more. So hopefully we can get a full complement of DBs back the way we're going to have a full complement of offense. Next question. Sending it around. We're going to start this time back at the top with Greg Rice. We're going to look around the NFL now. Outside of the Lions, since it is the bye week, we're going to look at the rest of the league, which we don't normally do on this show. What has been the biggest surprise around the NFL for you, Greg?
A lot of people are going to have some obvious names. I'm going to go ahead and go with the Dirty Birds. Atlanta is with new coach Arthur Smith. Like, are you kidding me? We got Mariota at quarterback, who a lot of people wrote off. And you look at this last game versus the Niners, in which they absolutely own them. Drake London and Kyle Pitts didn't exactly have big games. They got it through the ground. And more importantly, they got it through the ground without that offensive weapon known as Cordell Patterson. They're absolutely impressing me. For really, really knowledgeable NFL fans, outside of the Atlanta fan base, I think they'd have a hard time naming 10 current Falcons on the team. They are getting it done. And Arthur Smith and I'm really hoping Coach Campbell is looking at this like, wow, we can do this, you guys. We just need to believe in ourselves and rebound. I'm absolutely impressed with the Falcons and the way they've conducted themselves in what seems to be so far a division mirroring ours, very, very subpar play across the board, excluding the Vikings. So I'm absolutely impressed with the Falcons. Love AJ Trum. They got some key components on that team, and they just seem to be playing above their talent capacity, and kudos to them.
Yeah, and that's a great call out, Greg, and really took me by surprise with that one. Arthur Smith does have them playing kind of over their heads. When you look up and down that roster, it's pretty thin. Tyler Algier looks like a pretty solid young back as well. Russ, what surprises you looking around the NFL?
Oh, it's easy for me. Jets, Jets, putting that whooping on the Green Bay Packers. I did not expect that. And it wasn't just, that I hate the Packers so much. It was just like, wow, here's this team that is doing all of the things that we want to do. So, yeah, Jets by far is the biggest surprise to me.
Yeah, good call out. And Sauce Gardner looks like the real deal.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Reynolds. What's the biggest surprise for you looking around the NFL outside of Detroit?
I hate to say it, but I'm going to say the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah.
Being a Philadelphian here, living in the Philadelphia region, for them to come out and to be the only undefeated team in the NFL, and we all know the NFC East affectionately has been labeled the NFC least at times. Yeah. And for them to turn around and do what they're doing, and beating some solid teams. I mean, their schedule hasn't been easy, and for them to be 6-0 and for Jalen Hurts to be playing the way that he's playing. I think it's 14. He has 14 touchdowns to possibly 2 interceptions, and running the ball the way that he's doing, or what people expected him to do. He's going above and beyond that as an overall quarterback. He's probably inching his way into maybe that top 10, if this season continues, top 10 quarterbacks in the league. So that's the biggest surprise for me. And then I'd have to second the Jets, for them to be doing what they're doing. But I have to give it, my biggest surprise is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, that's a great call out. Eagles only undefeated team in the league at 6-0. We called it, Russ and I called it at the beginning of the year. Howie Roseman should probably get GM of the year, executive of the year, for the job he did in the draft and the free agent pickups that he's done. And it's really paid off, and they're really playing as a cohesive unit. Like you said, beating good teams. So we'll kick it over to Coach Darcy now. Coach, what do you see as the biggest surprise around the NFL outside of Detroit?
Oh, there's lots of surprises. I didn't think this was ever going to happen like this, but the Jags actually look really good. They got a really good defense. The Giants, who would have thought the NFC East would be better than the NFC North? Usually the Giants are the laughing stock. The Commanders are a laughing stock. Cowboys are always usually pretty good, but the Eagles, we've seen it in week 1. The Eagles and we stayed with them, but they're just a freaking great team. Veterans and new guys coming in and everything like that. So I also thought, like the Jets, like to go into Lambeau Field, you know how hard it is to win in Lambeau Field. It's not every team other than San Francisco could go into Lambeau Field and beat them. Talk about it.
Well, for me, the biggest surprise around the NFL this year is the AFC West. Ahead of the season, it was supposed to be an arms race. These teams are going to be beating up on each other, rolling up the scoreboard. And, Patrick Mahomes is who we thought he was. But the rest of these teams just aren't impressing me at all. Devontae Adams, Derek Carr can't find each other in a phone booth. Russell Wilson can't score a touchdown. It's such a disappointment to see this AFC West team underperform when I loaded up both of my fantasy teams with all their players. So that's where I stand as the biggest surprise this year. So we'll move on to our next category.
I'm impressed with Seattle.
The trade deadline's coming up November 1st. Oh, wait, we got a comment before we change topics here. Julian Rhodes. We've got a comment here that says the Packers offense, like playing humble and good receivers. Wait a minute. I don't think I can read that very well.
Are you on your phone? It says the Packers offense line is playing horrible and there's no good receivers. And they need to get their crap together, using a different word.
The Packers do.
Yes.
Are they pushing the panic button in Green Bay now?
They're not used to this yet, I don't think.
No.
Yeah, I don't
Go
think
ahead,
so.
Russ.
I don't think they are. But I think I'm going to save this other comment for after we get done with this next topic.
Okay. The next topic is the trade deadline. November the 1st is the trade deadline for NFL teams. I looked at some of the list of players out there today, and it was pretty slim pickings. Here's some questions for our panel. Greg, we'll start with you. Should the Lions make a move before the trade deadline? And if so, what should they do?
I'm going to go ahead and put it like this, Mike. There are 2 players right now that could transform this defense and help us. That would be Micah Parsons, who we're ironically facing, and Aaron Donald. Unfortunately, neither of them are on the block. I think the Lions stand pat, and we just settle for what's going on defensively. Hopefully it improves with some personnel, with the influx. Essentially, we're an offensive powerhouse team. We got a great back stable, a great wide receiver. Goff playing out of his offensive line speaks for itself. When defensively, like I said, there are 2 players on. There's absolutely no move right now that can move the needle for this Lions defense without giving up heavy draft capital assets. And to me, it's just not worth it.
I agree with that take. Eric Reynolds, what do you think? Anything the Lions should do at the trade deadline?
I agree with Greg. I mean, unless you're going to get somebody who's going to be an impact player on the defensive side of the ball, especially in the secondary, just stay pat the way things are, improve whatever personnel, coaching up whatever personnel's there, and just stay pat, and then possibly in the offseason, make a couple moves here or there. But right now, there's nothing that they really need other than something on the defensive side of the ball. And I don't think that there's anybody out there who's going to be able to be that impactful right now without giving up the house.
Good point.
Yeah.
Darcy, what do you think?
Absolutely. I'm taking the Rams pick right now, or in the 2023 draft. That is, by the way, going to be in downtown Detroit. I would take that Rams pick and call up Chicago. Hello, Chicago. Yeah. Can we have Roquan Smith? I'll give you a third for him too. They're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Let's go for Roquan. He wants to be. He already said he wants to be traded. Let's go for Roquan.
Right. So take the Bears' best player. They probably wouldn't give him up. But that's great. I love it.
They're rebuilding.
So right here at the trade deadline, then, Darcy, you think we should just stand pat and wait till the draft?
No, I told you. Yeah, no, I told you. We'll go after Roquan. We'll give him.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood you. You said
we'll give up the Rams pick for Roquan and maybe a third. I would pay the Rams pick and a third for Roquan, and I think that would set our defense up very well and let Anzalone go, and work with Barnes and maybe draft another one.
All right. So you're saying give up a first and a third to Chicago for
maybe
Roquan.
A third. Let's see if we could just get a first.
A first and a third. You'd even throw in a third to sweeten the deal. You're saying.
Yeah, but let's. They're desperate and they're rebuilding. Like, why? He already said he wanted to be traded, so why not put the carrot in front of the good old Chicago Bears?
Right on. Russ, is there anything you think the Lions should do at the trade deadline?
Absolutely not. I think that they should stand pat and 1,000 points of light, stay the course, get to the end of the season. Let's get to this 2023 draft, man.
Wow. If you would like to hear more takes like that from Russ Wayne and terrible impressions, be sure to check out our podcast, which airs every Thursday night at 6:30 on anywhere where you can get your podcast and listen to the Main Event 365 podcast. He does a really terrible Arnold Schwarzenegger that you can hear over there too. I
can't believe that you talk about me like that.
Next question for our panel, and we'll start with you, Eric Reynolds. The Lions are 1-4, and I know you need to be careful here. Is someone to blame? Is there anybody you point the finger at for this, Eric? Or would it be easier for me to break it down for you and say Aaron Glenn or Dan Campbell or Brad Holmes? Who is to blame for this 1-4 start?
Wow, that's a tough one to answer, and the reason why I say that, there have been some things that have gone right throughout that 1-4 skid that we've been on, but then, unfortunately, I'm going to say, in order to win games, you have to score more points than the other team. So I'm leaning more towards something on the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
That needs to be adjusted.
Right on. Message received loud and clear. Hey, that'd be a great segue, wouldn't it, Russ? Greg Rice, same question. 1-4, who's to blame?
Our offense is just absolutely the Patriots game. We did have some bright stars in Josh Reynolds and Craig Reynolds. They still did their thing. They got it done when they needed to. I look at this right now and I'm just like, AG, what is going on? I understand Kaminsky went down and it feels like it took the heart out of our defense, but where's Hutch? Please, Hutch, we need you. We took you at number 2. A lot of rabid Wolverines fans. I had this feeling that he was going to make this killer impact like Ndamukong Suh did his rookie year. And I just don't see it. And the situations are so similar, you guys. I'm not going to sit here and harp on Hutch, but Hutch, we need you, man. We took you at number 2. You're the hometown. This is the Disney story, and I've just seen nothing. You were absolutely stonewalled by Trent Brown, under the radar, one of the best left tackles in the game. And then he got a matchup against Isaiah Wynn and won it, but then over pursued. I need to see more variations out of AG. Get our number 2 overall pick involved, please. Please, by any means.
Russ Wayne, same question. Who do you put the blame 1 and 4?
I mean, at this point, I got to put it on Campbell himself, man, because, I mean, there are some situations. I mean, he could have won 2 of the games just with proper coaching and doing some of the consistency things that he was doing. So, and also a lot of the defensive problems are created because you're going for it on 4th down and giving rookie quarterback short fields and all of that stuff. So I have to put it on Campbell before Glenn because Campbell's causing some of Glenn's downfalls.
And you just took my take. That's exactly where I put the blame, right at the feet of the head coach. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. And when you're the head coach, you get the blame when things go bad. You get the praise when things go good. And to your point, I 100% agree. We would have won the Minnesota game had it not been for Dan Campbell. We definitely would have been more competitive in the New England game had it not been for Dan Campbell. We have the best punter in the league. It's a game of field position, and he continually gives it away. And I think he is directly to blame for being 1 and 4. We could be 2 and 3 at the very least without Dan Campbell. So that's where I'm going to put the blame. How about you, Darcy? You ready to blame anyone for the 1 and 4 yet?
Yeah, I blame Brad Holmes a little bit because we still haven't had a kicker. Usually the kicker scores the most points on the team. So the long snapper, the laces aren't lining up with the holder. He always has to spin the ball. So I look at little things like that. Special teams hasn't been as great as last year. The riverboat gambler got caught with his pants down, and Bill Belichick biting his kneecaps off, literally. There's lots to blame to go around, but with this bye week, I'm sure they're going to have an answer to all the blunders that's going to go on. I think they're going to beat those Cowboys, says Stephen A. Smith.
And with that, Darcy, we're going to transition right into predictions and start with you. So give me a score and a winner.
It's going to be a high-scoring affair in Jerry's World, 1:00. CD Land. There's going to be drama, and there's going to be lots of throwing, materials at the television. But I think it's going to be a good game, and the Lions pull it out in the end. Let's go 38-35.
All right. Eric Reynolds, back over to you. Let's hear a prediction. Let's hear a score and a winner against your Cowboys.
Score against my Cowboys, 34-31 Lions.
All right. Thank you, sir. Now, Greg Rice, what do you got?
I think we're definitely going to see a boost in points. We're going to really put this Cowboys test team. On the flip side of it, I think the Cowboys have a lot of great weapons. Who's going to cover Austin Schultz, another under-the-radar tight end? Michael Gallup's coming back. Amani Warrior, I hope you're taking notes. Jerry Jacobs, would be nice to see you. In the end, I have a high-scoring game. I got it at 45 Cowboys, 31 or 34 Lions. I think we're going to put our offense on display again. I can't see us making the stops against this offense. I think Zeke and Pollard go off on us for 200 all-purpose yards. And, yeah.
All right, send it over to the Swami now. Let's hear the predictions. What do you got for us, Russell Wayne?
Well, I mean, we're getting some players back. We're feeling good about ourselves, and we're going to go in there. We're going to score a bunch of points. The defense is going to play a lot better, and we're going to lose 28-27.
A 1-point loss in Big D.
Wow.
The Swami predicts. In other words,
Nice.
Take Detroit in the points is what the Swam is saying.
That's what the Swam is saying.
And you and I are aligned on a lot of things, but we are not aligned here. I think if Dak Prescott comes out, they're going to roll over us. They're going to blow us out by more than 20 points. I'm going to predict 30-10. Lions lose to Dallas. And that's my prediction for the game. It's time now for the last segment of the day. Everyone on the headliner panel, thank you so much for being with us today. You're all respected and loved very much. Thank you so much for being here. We do have a question in the comment. Russ, read that question off for us.
Well, it's not a we got a couple comments in here. I said I think that we should give our coach another year or two, said by Joey. Thanks, Joey. I mean, I kind of agree with you, but John Dorn does not agree with you. He says Campbell is the problem. So then we got is that Marquise? Is that how you say that? Marquise, 2023 season cannot off season cannot come quick enough. Defense needs good able bodies ASAP from the comment section.
Yeah, well, I got to agree that Campbell definitely gets some blame, but I'm not ready to give up on the guy yet. I think he's a good leader of men. The players buy into what he's doing. He just needs to get himself right with his calls and his coaching style. I mean, I think he's still developing it. I think he's doing some trial and error with an emphasis on the error at this point. So I'm not ready to give up on him yet. But thank you so much for the comments. Russ, it's time for Wayne's Word. Wayne's Word, what do you got?
Well, Wayne's Word, yeah, like I'm still cautioning everybody for the 2023 season. And I know that we've been saying they're rebuilding since 1957, but I want to caution everybody on don't jump off of this ship maybe for the year if you're jumping off for this season, but it's been a 7-year plan, right? We have a 7-year deal with Coach Campbell, and he said when he walked into that office, I promise you, he said, Sheila, I need 2 years to do this, to break. I'm going to rip it apart from the studs. We're going to look really, really bad on the cap. It's going to be dead. It's going to be ugly year 1. It's going to be a little less ugly year 2. We might be able to do something year 2, but we're going to put all of our chips in 2023, or it might be 2024. But I think they're going to restructure Goff at the end of this year and put all that house money and push all their chips in for the next 5 years, starting in 2023. So that's what you got for Wayne's Word.
All right. Thank you so much. The producer, Russ Wayne, with some words of wisdom at the end. For Greg Rice and Eric Reynolds and Russ Wayne and the Coach Darcy Mevel, I'm Main Event Mike. Thanks for hanging out on our program. This has been the Main Stage Monday Night Open Mic Night. Peace out.
Let's go.
One pride.
See you, fellas.